I wanted to talk about something I've been working on, and I want to go more live on Dark Sorcery here because I think it fits into this. I've been working, me and my friends here in LA. I'm trying to build a team, and I hope I can reach out to anybody on here about. I'd like to form a system of building your own system because I feel that's the only way that people, you know, in this day and age, we've developed with technology, evolution, whatever you want to call it, where I feel that each individual, especially if they get into the esoteric or they get into to the occult, magic, many of the things we talk about here on Dark Sorcery, they've developed to a level of individuality, of being autonomous, being self-actualized enough, if you want to get fancy about it, and where they can develop their own system uh, and avoid dogma. And I don't even think you have to be a chaos magician to do this. I think everybody does this in their own way. Um, I mean, people on the right hand path, they're a little bit more put in. If you're a Catholic, you kind of got to, bow down to the Pope or whatever, the official Pope. If you're a Christian, non-Catholic, there's the pastor of your church or whatever. You got to kind of listen to what they have to say. You don't have to, but I mean, you could be an independent Christian, which a lot of people are. But I mean, I think is if you're in the dark, the light, the dark, the middle, that's I consider, the left hand path, the right hand path. If you get too involved in them, you start following people. Even if you're in the left hand path, you're going around in circles. Right hand path, same thing. You're going around in circles. You're always trying to do the right thing, always trying to follow dogma or follow teacher or whatever. So I would say, a new middle path would be to find your own and take what you want from either side and from all the variety of all the different things and be your own self and your own system. And I think that's the only thing that's really going to work for people, honestly. I've seen lots of people try different things, and if somebody else eventually, even if you've gotten to the point where you're like, I'm doing really bad and I'm having a whole lot of problems and I just want to listen to somebody. I don't know what to do. I think you may follow that a person and say, okay, I'll do whatever they say. I'll submit to their dogma. I'll submit to whatever. Who we got here? PGB. Hey, so hey, what's up? No, there was nobody even watching. I didn't know anybody was watching. I didn't know anybody's watching. Well, we got like 12 watchers already. Cool. Hey, so what I'm talking about is forming your own system, your own spiritual system. That's what I'm trying to get to people here. When I go live here, I'm supposed to put a spiritual spin on things and think about that. I mean, especially if people are experiencing the left hand path. Stop panting like a dog. Why you'd say that? That's weird. Jacob Oe, you sound kind of weird. Anyway, so I'm talking about forming your own systems. You got 7 now. 7, 4. Huh. I will do it. Okay. All right. I'm trying to react here. Message retracted. I think we had a basher here. This Jacob guy was trying to put some weird stuff on here. Um, so anyway, if you form your own system out of all your experiences, and you can get somebody to guide you, you can get people to guide you, and to form your own system. But as long as the ideas come from you, mostly, you won't eventually resist them, because I think most of the time people do get resisted. People do. They do resist if they have something from somebody else that they didn't actually process. They didn't actually. It's not personal to them. So that's the systems that I'm coming up with. So we got Emma Sanchez says hi. Let's see. People are saying hi. Peachy bees. Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys got any questions in the comments, that's what I'm trying to come up with is individuality, autonomous, belief systems, systems of magic, whatever you want to call it. You know, your spiritual system should be something that you process through, that you do, you know? It's like I said before, I don't know if anybody tuned in before, but I was saying if you're following somebody else, eventually you're gonna drop it. You're gonna question it, and you're not gonna have a. It's not gonna be yours. It's not really gonna be yours. It's not really gonna be your thing, you know. But other than that, I am just starting the day. I got my favorite magical cup here, which I think Walt Disney was the best magician. I mean, look at the empire he built. He owns everything, or he's dead, but his name is still on everything. So, anybody watching, you want to say where you're from? I'm from LA. Just starting my day, having some breakfast and stuff. I would thought I'd go on live. I'm gonna try to go live here more. I go live on Facebook a lot. My name is Guion Hughes. If anybody has any spiritual questions or anything, you can catch me on Facebook, Instagram. Here, I have my own channel called Guillotine Productions, but I actually partner here with Dark Sorcery and Alfredo. So let's see. All right, we got. Let me see if I can pronounce this name. Mesanaldo, Mesanaldo. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but I'm not that good. I'm mostly, English is my first language. Wait a second. Okay, I have to go do something. Okay. All right, I'll see you, Peachy. So it's cool that people are logging in. This will be saved for later if people want to review the whole thing. What I'm talking about is forming your own system so you don't get wrapped up in somebody else's thing. And eventually, I see that a lot. I'm a substance abuse counselor on top of being a spiritual guy or whatever, or a content creator. And I see a lot, if people are following somebody else's ideas all the time, eventually they're going to say, this isn't from me. This isn't really from me. So, and they resist it. And if it's something that's helping them, like stay sober, for example, they probably will relapse. They'll end up relapsing probably, which I don't know if abstinence is even the way, harm reduction, maybe the way where people do use and the relapse isn't a big thing and all that. And they don't throw in shame and all that stuff with it. But that's my ideas on my job and stuff with doing that. And put a spiritual spin on it though. Like I said, try to come up with your own ideas, and if you have any questions, find somebody who's a guide, who will guide you to your own path, not somebody who says my path is the only way, because that's when the cult stuff starts. That's when the dangerous stuff starts. Occult, really modernly, cult actually comes from the word culture, which means to develop. When you cultivate a field, you develop the field, you develop the vegetation to your liking, growing fruits and vegetables or whatever. That's kind of like where the word culture comes from. That's the Latin root. However, cult modernly, the negative cult comes in when people are saying, hey, my way is the only way. And I know Christianity, it says that, the Bible says that. It's a dangerous thing, I think, It's a dangerous thing to say my way is the only way. And that's when all this negative cult stuff comes in. So if you want to, when you're looking for a spiritual teacher, find somebody who guides you to your own path. It doesn't say my way is the only way and all this bad stuff will happen to you if you don't follow exactly what I say. Because that's exactly, and there's all kinds of other techniques and stuff like that. But that should be like a kind of a public service announcement for this. That's the negative things with cults and everything like that. Is if people say my way is the only way and people really believe that, they'll do, really self-destructive and destructive pathological things to themselves and others. And, we don't need that. We don't need that, especially in the left-hand path here. So that is probably going to be it because I got to get my day started and go to work. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, whoever's still on. Let's see. I'll have to look you guys up afterwards. You know, I'll follow your channel. Follow my channel, Guillotine Productions. Follow Dark Sorcery, Light Sorcery. We'll see you. Yeah, we'll see you around.